Hello, I'm just going to make a really quick video here that's talking about why I decided to go ahead and use technology in my homeschool. We do use a tablet. Go ahead and back and watch my last video on sanctifying technology. But I want to touch really quick on the why. I was anti-tablet, anti-technology to begin with when it came to raising my daughter. And at a certain point, my husband and I, this was kind of a compromise. We were potty training her and we were having trouble with her even just staying on the potty. No matter what we did, staying on there long enough to do anything was a chore. It was a major problem. So we couldn't even convince her with stickers or books, or no amount of bribing was going to fix this problem. Other than just forcing her, which obviously you don't necessarily want to do when you're potty training. So my husband came up with this idea that, well, maybe we should try some sort of tablet. It quickly got to the point where I realized I despise YouTube with a passion, as far as children's stuff goes. There's very little educational content on YouTube, I would say. As far as little tiny toddler stuff, there's more for older kids. But even then, I just didn't feel like it was safe. There was a lot of things on there that are questionable, a lot of things on there that feel to me more like propaganda and brainwashing than actual educational content. And so I just did not feel comfortable allowing her access to even YouTube Kids with a tablet. It just didn't sit right with me. We don't even put YouTube up on the main screen TV. The only thing I use it for is researching mostly homeschool stuff and maybe the occasional cooking recipe or whatever. But, when it came to tablet time, I quickly decided that there is two different kinds of media. There is the McDonald's of media, is what I like to call it, which is basically, it's not really food. It's not, there's types of media like CoComelon and things for kids. It's not nutritional education as far as I would say. You're not going to McDonald's, just in the same way you're not going to McDonald's to get nutrition out of it. You're not going to YouTube necessarily to always get nutritional information and education. Yeah, there are some shows, I know that people might argue with me on this, but yeah, there's some shows that are maybe good or whatever, but as a homeschool mom, I'm busy enough. I don't need to be screening every single video and every single show on YouTube that she's watching. I don't have time for that. I don't want to be constantly worried about what she's watching and what kind of content she's enjoying. I just don't. I don't like to watch movies. I don't like to watch TV. And I don't like to watch new content all the time where I have to worry about screening it all the time for my 6-year-old. That doesn't sound like fun. So what I've done is I've asked God to sanctify our technology use, and I've talked about this in other videos. And basically what I've boiled it down to is that technology is unfortunately not going anywhere. Smartphones are not going anywhere. As much as I would love for them to disappear off the planet, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're just not. I wish we could kind of return to a more simplified life without so much technology, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. So what I've come to the conclusion of is if we ask God to sanctify our technology use through only providing educational quality educational apps that are curated by me in my home, and I encourage you to do the same. Make sure any apps and anything that you put on their tablet is safe, is full of truthful, beautiful information, and not propaganda information. Make sure that it's good, true, and beautiful, truly. Make sure it's something that you feel like you can walk out of the room and you feel like that's going to be okay. If you have any twinge of hesitation with content, remove it. Take it off of your child's tablet. Don't let it sit there. Okay? So that's kind of my my rule of thumb. If I have any kind of doubt or whatever, then I remove it. So make sure your technology use is truthful. Make sure that it's not propaganda or brainwashing material like that. Also, make sure that it's, if you're Christian, make sure that it's uplifting and Christian content. Okay, we have a very, very, very trusted source for our Christian, Catholic, biblical content. And I 100% trust that I can leave the room and I don't have to worry about that at all. It's all beautifully animated. It's all rooted in truth and scripture and godly and Christ-centered and biblical. She's learning about the entire Old Testament and New Testament. She's learning about Jesus and how much he loves her. It's just good, true, and beautiful. So ask God to sanctify your technology use with the understanding that you're preparing your child for the future of technology that's just going to be in their life because it's not going anywhere. And as much as I would love to hide from it, and as much as I would love to shelter her from technology of all sorts, and maybe you're the same way, maybe you're not. Maybe you're, into YouTube, or you're not quite as strict on it as I am. But wherever you fall between that spectrum, whether you're as strict with it as I am or whether you're looser with it, make sure that it's a sanctified technology space. Make sure that you're making that it's educational and that it's feeding their nutritional need for education, and make sure that it's developing them spiritually too. And I feel like by doing that, we're preparing our kids for their future with technology, and just telling them that this is the proper use of technology. Okay? This is how you sanctify your use of technology, and make sure that they're using it in an appropriate way from a young age. And, then of course, as they get older, as they get into teenagerhood and all of this stuff, that they are, then you can talk to them more about the pitfalls and all of that stuff. But they'll have been rooted in the foundations of what it looks like to have good and truthful and good, wonderful media around them. The other thing too that I don't want you to misconstrue about my use of technology is I do not believe that children should have smartphones. I do not believe that. Okay. For my husband and I personally, I don't know what the future holds for that. I personally would not want her to have a smartphone until she's 18. I just don't think that they're healthy. I don't think they're safe for children to be using smartphones, nor do I think it's good to be addicted at such a young age. The way we use the tablet in our household right now, I feel is no different than having a VHS. So when I was a kid, my sister and I had a VHS player, and all we played was VHS tapes. Okay, the way we're using technology in my house with her tablet, it's no different than the way my sister and I used to put in our own VHS tapes and watch Disney movies in the, when we were at home during the summer. The only difference is that Disney's not exactly educational. So this is educational, but it's, but yeah, so I don't want you to misconstrue my words. I do not believe that children should have access to iPhones. I don't believe they should have access to smartphones or any kind of text messaging capabilities or any kind of phone access like that. I just don't. So we're not condoning that in my house. I hope that clears up some things for you. It just dawned on me that I'm like, I didn't really talk about that much. So anyway, just to clarify, and I hope you're having a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.